It's roughly 12,300 years ago in what is now Utah, and someone is sitting near a fire with no cigarette, no lighter, no convenience store, and absolutely no Surgeon General warning. Just roasted duck bones, dessert plants, and the ancient human confidence to look at smoke and think, maybe I should put that in my body. Very modern behavior. Terrible branding. So before cigarettes existed before factories rolled tobacco by the millions, what did ancient humans actually smoke? Here's the weird part. Smoking is not really a cigarette story. Cigarettes are the late industrial version. Ancient smoke was older, stranger, and usually tied to ritual medicine, death purification, or the classic human hobby of discovering a plant that changes your brain and immediately giving it spiritual importance. First, meet the people of Ice Age North America, basically the original desert survival experts, with better plant knowledge than your entire wellness podcast feed. At the Wishbone site in Utah, archaeologists found charred tobacco seeds in a hearth, dated to about 12,300 years ago, alongside tools and food remains from hunter-gatherers. That does not prove someone was leaning back like a cartoon cowboy, but it does show humans were using tobacco incredibly early, long before farming made it famous. They may have chewed it, burned it, or inhaled smoke from it. Simple plant, big effect. And culturally that matters, because tobacco was never just something to do with your hands. In many indigenous American traditions, it became a powerful ceremonial plant, used for offerings, healing, prayer, negotiation, and communication with forces you did not want to annoy. Now jump to the Eurasian steppe in the 5th century BC, where the Scythians were riding horses, burying chiefs with dramatic energy, and apparently turning funerals into smoky spa days. Our main witness is Herodotus, the Greek historian, who is kind of the ancient world's version of that one guy at a dinner party who has a very confident story about every country he has visited. In Book 4 of the Histories, written around 440 BC, he describes Scythians placing hemp seed on red-hot stones inside felt tents after a burial. The result was thick vapor. They crawled in. They shouted with joy. Were they basically hotboxing a funeral? Yes, they were. But to them, this was not some random party trick. It was purification after death, a replacement for washing, and probably a ritual way to move from the dirty world of burial back into ordinary life. Practical, sacred, extremely smoky. Then we get to the Pamir Mountains, near the Jirzenkal Cemetery, in what is now western China, around 500 BC. This one is not just a Greek traveler telling us a wild story and asking us to trust him, which honestly, historians have been doing to Herodotus for 2,500 years. In 2019, researchers chemically tested wooden braziers from tombs at Jirzenkal and found cannabis. Compounds including evidence suggesting plants with unusually high psychoactive content were burned during mortuary rituals. They were not rolling neat little joints. They were heating cannabis in braziers, probably in enclosed ritual spaces, using smoke as part of ceremonies around death. Heavy stuff, literally and emotionally. The smoke may have marked grief status contact with spirits or a controlled altered state at the edge between the living and the dead. Mesoamerica adds another twist because tobacco there was not only smoked, sometimes it was prepared in ways that would make a modern cigarette look embarrassingly boring. At Cotzumalhuapa in Guatemala, archaeologists found nicotine residues in 3 cylindrical ceramic vessels from late classic ritual deposits dated to AD 650. 950 near the El Baúl Acropolis. The evidence points to tobacco infusions or liquid preparations, not necessarily smoke from those exact vessels, but it fits a bigger Mesoamerican world where tobacco appears in ritual medicine offerings and later historical descriptions of cigar-like smoking. They drank it, offered it, burned it, smoked it. Ancient. People did not have a cigarette break. They had an entire tobacco operating system. Fun fact. The cigarette as a cheap, mass-produced object is surprisingly recent. James Bonsack filed for his cigarette rolling machine patent in 1880 and received it in 1881, helping turn cigarettes from hand-rolled products into industrial objects. So, humanity had been experimenting with sacred smoke for thousands of years before machines made. Fast, cheap, and very profitable. So, what did ancient humans smoke before cigarettes? Sometimes tobacco, sometimes cannabis, sometimes other plants burned as incense medicine or ritual smoke, depending on the place and time. The deeper answer is that smoke gave humans something powerful, a visible bridge between the body and the invisible. It rose, disappeared, smelled strange, changed mood, marked death, called spirits, cleaned spaces, and made people feel that the air itself had become meaningful.
That is the strange lesson here. Ancient humans were not stupid cave people randomly inhaling campfire leftovers. They were experimenters, observers, healers, priests, mourners, and occasionally very questionable decision-makers with excellent dramatic timing. Long before cigarettes turned smoking into a global industry, smoke was a tool for, meaning, so the next time you see smoke curling upward, remember, ancient humans were already staring at that same ghostly trail thousands of years ago, wondering where it went and whether it could carry a message with it.